and welcome back to the channel. So this is the second video of the CSS, and today we'll discuss about how to add CSS to your HTML pages, which means if you are done with your HTML coding and your plain HTML page is ready, then how to beautify that page using CSS. And there are three ways to do so. The first one is inline CSS, second is internal CSS, and third is external CSS. And we will discuss all of these with the help of code in this video today. And for that I am moving towards the text editor now, and I'll start with the coding. So here I am in text editor, and this is the plain HTML page which guides us about inline CSS, and there are two tags which are heading tag and paragraph tag. Now if I want to style the heading tag or paragraph tag, I'll need to write style attribute or provide style attribute to the relevant tag. So here I'm starting with heading tag. I'm styling heading tag first. So I have mentioned style attribute, then is equals to, then in double quotes I'll define the properties. So here I'm defining property color and it has value red, and this is my first property, and I'm adding semicolon, and now I'll define the second property, which is text alignment as center. Now I'll go on the web page and refresh to see if it works, and this is how it's looking now, which means it works completely fine, and this is all about inline CSS. Now if I want to style paragraph tag, then I'll need to separately define the style attribute for that and properties. So I have added style tag or style attribute here, and I'm defining property color as green, and now I'll refresh the web page and you can see the color has been green now. So this is how inline CSS work. The word inline itself says that the scope of this CSS is limited to single line or single HTML tag. So whenever we want to work with inline CSS, we'll need to define the CSS properties again and again for each and every tag present on the HTML document. This method is only convenient if we have a small code or small lines to work with. If I have a 200 and 300 line of codes, this way is not helpful, and it will be very time consuming and hectic for the programmer. And this is not the way how we work nowadays. So we will discuss about the next way which we can use, which is internal CSS. And again, the word itself gives you the idea that it will be in the HTML document. The CSS will be in the HTML document. And to style using internal CSS, you go and define the style tag in the heading tag of the HTML document, that is in the head tag of HTML document. There you write the style tag as I have done here, and then you define the properties. So I have defined two properties here, which is text alignment and color, and they are applied to the heading tag. So we have discussed about internal CSS in detail in the first video, so I'll highly recommend you to go and watch that video for better understanding. And this is all about internal CSS for this video. Now discussing about the third way of adding CSS to HTML files, which is external CSS. And as the name suggests, CSS file is external here, which means it is not part of HTML document or HTML code. So here on the left side of the screen, you can see there is a folder which says CSS-with, and it has a file which is index.html that contains the code which is present on the screen right now. In this folder, I'll create one more file, let's say index.css, and this file will contain all the CSS properties for HTML document, that is index.html. And here, now once we are done with creating the file in the same folder, we are supposed to link both the files. That is, HTML file should be linked with the CSS file, and for that we use link tag in the head tag of the HTML document. Here earlier we used to write style tag, but in case of external CSS we will use link tag to link the documents, the two documents, that is HTML and CSS, and it has a fixed attribute which is used to specify relation between these two files. And while working with CSS, the real attribute has value style sheet, and type of this style sheet is either text or CSS, that is text/CSS. So these two values are constant while working with CSS and HTML. The only change is for the hyperreference attribute, where you write your file name, and it varies from person to person. So all these details are enough to link the CSS file with the HTML one, and here we're done with external CSS. Now let's add some styling properties. so that we can implement the external CSS. So getting into the index.css file, and now I'll first define styling properties for heading tag. So I'll write h2, and then in curly braces I'll add the properties. So here I'm adding properties like text alignment as center and font color or color as blue. So the color for the fonts will be blue. Now after refreshing the web page, you can see the text is aligned to the center and it has color blue. Now the next tag that we should style according to HTML document is p tag, and same in the curly braces I'll define the properties. So here in the curly braces I am adding properties like text alignment as center and font style as italic. So font style italic and semicolon. Again going on the web page and refreshing it to show you the output, and you can see it works completely fine. So this is how CSS or external CSS is implemented. Make sure that you provide proper values for the link tag, and that's it, you're done. Thank you for watching the video till the end. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed watching the video, give it a big thumbs up and share with your friends and subscribe to the channel.